Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Trackside Talks. This is Sam and Zachary reporting on the Singapore Grand Prix and the Baku Grand Prix. So first point of interest is the McLarens. Just absolutely unbelievable the driving that we're seeing from these two. I mean, Oscar hit one of the best overtakes of the entire year on Leclerc in Baku, and Lando got one of the most impressive drives of the year in Singapore, which is just absolutely wild, and their car is just unbelievably fast. Piastri did have not a perfect race in Singapore, so that wasn't ideal for him, but I don't think they're coming back from. I think they're going to win Constructors' Cup.
Okay. Well, my thoughts on McLaren is, how they everything with their rear wing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just good at cheating, personally. But you know what? That's up for debate. But really, to me, the Singapore Grand Prix was not the best one to watch. That was not the most exciting one, but I thought Baku was amazing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, the Singapore one, it just there weren't many overtakes. It was kind of just all right, here we are, and that was the rest of the race.
Yeah. And now we don't get a race for a month.
I know, it's quite sad. I think another big point of interest is Leclerc did amazingly in Baku, getting second, and he got pole. But then in Singapore, it just did not look great. Even in Q1 and Q2, he was never really doing that well in qualifying. And then as soon as Q3 came around, then he got track limits and his time got deleted. And then Carlos obviously had the crash. But I thought Carlos had actually great drive in the race. After he pitted, he was just overtaking people left and right. So I thought that he was super impressive. I also thought that the Williams were a huge, they had a huge race in Baku. I mean, both drivers got in the points. Their qualifying was good. They were just quite impressive.
Something about the Williams is, as Alex Albon has never really had a real teammate besides Max Verstappen, which he struggled with. I think now that he has a good teammate this year and probably an even better one in Carlos Sainz next year, I think he'll start to struggle a little bit. And I think he may even turn to Williams as number 2 driver if it continues like this, because I think Franco actually looks much better right now. And this is on a completely new topic, but I think Lance Stroll is the worst F1 driver of all time.
Okay, wow. That's a deep cut. I mean, you obviously have to compare him to Fernando Alonso, and in that regard, he clearly is a lot worse, and they have the same car. So when you see what Fernando can do with that car, and then you watch him race, it's like, wow, this is pretty disappointing.
Yeah. And Fernando Alonso's getting all the results out of as he can out of those cars, and Lance Stroll is just
Hello, everyone, again. My phone has just run out of storage. So, back to what we were saying. Yeah, Lance Stroll, not very impressive considering what Fernando can do. I will say, though, he was actually not that bad at Racing Point. Now, I know Racing Point had a great car, but, I mean, him and Perez were a force at Racing Point. All right, so now we have to talk about Daniel Ricciardo, which just makes me sad to think about because I just feel like it can't end like this. This has just been... He's had such a amazing career, and everybody... Or actually, he hasn't had the best career, and everybody absolutely loves him, though. And for it to end like this, when he got, P17, and he's on some nobody team, it just seems wrong for somebody of his caliber. And I really, really hope he gets to drive in Austin.
Now, sadly, I also agree. I don't think he'll be driving in Austin. But also, I mean, to counter your point, actually, I think he has had a great career. I mean, he's had so many race wins, and he's been great, basically. I mean, he's washed up now the last few years, maybe. Since his Reno days, he hasn't been as good. But he has had a really good career, and I think that he is a little bit washed up, but now's a good time to end it, you know? He's had 30-something career podiums.
Yeah, that's true. I just think you have to realize that like everyone is gonna eventually retire. So like if he just keeps driving, I'm not sure if he can even stay like the way he is now. In which case, it would just be a horrible situation for him. So yeah, it's probably the best idea that that was his last race. It's just somewhat sad to see him go. All right, prediction time. Or should we do another hot take?
No, okay, well, I have a different question now. Who do you think is going to be the next RB driver if Daniel Ricciardo does drop out real quick?
Liam Lawson.
Okay, you're like completely confident about that.
Liam Lawson or Valtteri.
Well, Valtteri is a crazy pick for in the middle of the season, so I think I agree with Liam Lawson. Now we can do a hot take.
All right, hot take. I have to think of mine, so you go first.
Well, okay, give me a second now. I kind of already said a hot take earlier in the video, and I said Lance Stroll is the worst F1 driver of all time.
Yeah, that's true. That take was toasty as heck.
I can come up with a new one now.
I'm trying to think.
Okay. This is a sad thought to think, you know.
Oh, no.
Because you know, I'm obviously an Ocon fan, but I think Oliver Behrman will heavily outperform him in his season at Haas, even though it'll be Oliver's first year. So I think that'll be not fun to watch, but I think Ocon will do good, like maybe 25, 30 points, because that car looks good, but I think Oliver Behrman will probably be up there in like the 50s or 60s in points. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, because you have to realize, I agree with you that I think that he will do better, because of the performance he's done so far, but also, one of those performances was in a Ferrari car, so you can't exactly, I think anyone would probably be better in a Ferrari car than Esteban in a Alpine car, so I feel like it's somewhat of an unfair, comparison, but I do agree with you that I do agree that he will be outperformed.
What's your hot take now?
My hot take is that Max Verstappen and Red Bull will not even be second in the Drivers' and Constructors' Cup next year.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's actually a good one.
I have McLaren and Ferrari both finishing above them now that Ferrari has Lewis Hamilton.
Hear me out. Okay, I have one more hot take that you just reminded me of. Now this is coming straight out of the blue here, okay?
Okay.
But I have Aston Martin finishing second in the Constructors next year. Because of Adrian Newey and Fernando Alonso.
And Lance Stroll. You just came up a hot pitch about how bad Lance Stroll was, and now you're like
Terrible. No, he's terrible. But even like Logan Sargent will be able to perform in a great car. Like I think Lance Stroll will get absolutely killed by his teammate next year, but I still think they'll probably end up second.
Yeah.
Which is also an insane take, but you know it's okay.
It is definitely insane. All right, prediction time. Top 10. Here we go.
You first.
All right, me first. I have kind of a hot pick going for this first one in Austin.
Yeah, let me guess who you have winning.
Who?
George Russell.
No, I have Max Verstappen.
That's a terrible pick, I agree.
I know, it's a pretty wild pick, but I see him, because now he's motivated, and he had a pretty good race in Singapore, so I see them getting it done there. Second, I see Lando. Third, I see Oscar. Fourth, Carlos. Fifth, Charles. Sixth, George. Seventh, Perez. Eighth, Hamilton. Ninth, Alonso. And 10th, Gasly.
Yeah, I hate you. Okay, yes. Okay. So I think you're like Red Bull lost by 20 seconds that race, so I don't know where you think that's coming from, but okay. I have got Carlos Sainz in first.
You got Carlos winning it. Now that's what I like to hear, because that is my guy. Shout out NTK.
She was dismayed after his Q3 crash and after his final lap crash in Baku.
I know, that was honestly heartbreaking.
Okay, so Carlos Sainz, then we have Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. And then fourth, I have George Russell. Fifth, I have Max Verstappen, 6th. I'll be going with Lewis Hamilton. 7th, Charles Leclerc.
Good Lord, 7th? That's an absolute robbery.
8th, I have Yuki Tsunoda. 9th, Nico Hulkenberg. 10th, Esteban Ocon.
Oh, wow, you got Esteban making a comeback season. He's getting big points in this one, y'all.
You know, I'm happy with how he did in Singapore. I mean, he went up 2 places. He had some good battles with Yuki Tsunoda, and it was a pretty good weekend making it into Q2 with that absolute terrible car.
Yeah, I agree. Not too bad. All right. That's all for Trackside Talks. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in 1 month or sooner if there's any breaking news. Adios.